Today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3, text 41. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshabha papmanam prajahihyenam gnana vijnana nashanam. So Krishna, having explained the eternal enemy in the form of lust, he says how to control the lust. He's giving the solution. So he said this lust resides in these three places: Indriyani, Mano, Buddhihi. So now he says how to control the lust is Tasmat, therefore, Tvam, you, Adau, from the beginning, or it means since the time you understand this principle. Actually, it means from the beginning of life, Adau, but because the conditioned soul is ignorant of this, since the moment you understand this principle that lust is the eternal enemy, that is the Adi, from the beginning, Indriyani niyamya bharatarshabha, O Arjuna, bharatarshabha, from the beginning you understand, since the time you understand this importance, you control the senses, Indriyani niyamya, and thereby Prajahi, Jahi means victory. Prajahi means conquer. Enam, this lust, you can conquer. This papmanam, this the great symbol of sin. And gnana vijnana nashanam, that which destroys knowledge and wisdom. Prabhupada explains this gnana and vijnana very nicely. Gnana is not like the ordinary gnana of learning a programming language or learning how to build a building or anything like that for our livelihood. Gnana means the knowledge of the spirit soul. We are spirit soul, we are not this body. And Vijnana means, as a spirit soul, what is my duty? My duty is to engage in the service of the Lord. I am part and parcel of Krishna. My duty is to engage in the service of Krishna. That is Vijnana. So this Gnana, Vijnana, Nashanam, this wonderful Gnana and Vijnana will be destroyed by this lust. Therefore it is Papmanam, it is the symbol of sin. So we have to conquer it. So Krishna is giving clear formula for conquering this enemy within, which is niyamya, indriyani niyamya, regulate the senses. So now, sometimes people, they say, why is Krishna not inspiring me to go to temple? Why is Krishna not inspiring me to chant? Why is not Krishna not inspiring me to follow the regulative principles? So we conveniently give the excuse that if God is willing, God is inspiring, that day will come, everything will happen. But that's not what God is saying here. Krishna is saying, you have to do your bit. Unless we do our bit, we do what is asked of us, how are you showing Krishna that you are serious? You have to show to Krishna that you want it. You want to conquer the lust. You want to win, Prajahi. So what is your effort? How are you showing to Krishna that you really want it? It is by putting that endeavor, niyamya. This is the part we have to do. That is in our hands. So Prabhupada also mentions that this lust is basically originally love of God, that we were all with Krishna in the spiritual world. We were all in love with Krishna, full of love of Krishna. But the first desire of the living entity is to become like Krishna. The moment that happens, it gets degenerated, that love becomes degenerated into lust. So in one conversation, Prabhupada mentions this point. how the Lord influences the living entity to such material consciousness and forgetfulness. So the answer is that the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord, but because he is part and parcel, just like the Lord is fully independent, the living entity has partial independence. So it may happen that he may not be willing to serve the Lord, but may try to become as independent as the Lord is. But the living entity can never become God. That is our constitutional position. But out of ignorance, we think we can become God like that. So that is the first, by misuse of the first sinful will, misuse of our free will of the living entity is to become the Lord. And then consequently, the another misuse, consequent will of the reciprocation of the Lord because of our misuse is that the living entity forgets his actual life and thus dreams of this material life, tries to enjoy. So just like the child cries to have the moon from the mother, and the mother gives the child a mirror to satisfy the crying and disturbing child with the reflection of the moon. So similarly, the crying child of the Lord is given over to the reflection, the material world, so that he can lord it over and try to be God. Everyone is trying to enjoy, exploit, want to be the center of attraction in this world, isn't it? But this is a mere reflection of the actual reality. So either you are a karmi trying to enjoy senses, or sometimes you may become a gnani, become frustrated with this life of suffering and enjoyment and want to become one with God. The gnanis want to merge with God. They want to aspire for even higher position than the karmis. And the yogis, they want to practice austerities and yoga siddhis for again lording over nature. You see, these yogis, sometimes people mistake them to be gods, incarnations. They can generate something from their hands or mouth or whatever, which is already made by God. If they are the actual creator, why can't they create like God has created? No, but they have to get that somehow, manufacture it and give it. So in this way, karmis, yogis, gnanis, they're all trying to lead a material life only. It's not spiritual life. Anyway, the point is that we have to control our senses. And it is very difficult. Prabhupada says that this lust, it became from love of God, it became lust. And it is very difficult once it becomes lust. But by Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is so powerful that at any stage one can come back. One doesn't have to worry. Ideally, that's why they say from the beginning of childhood, the child must be trained so that the love of Krishna is maintained. It is not degenerated. Kaumaram acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adhruvam ardhadam. This is the instruction of Prahlad Maharaj, that right from when you are Kaumara, Kaumara means 5 years old, you should practice Krishna consciousness. And he was teaching to his fellow classmates during the recess period. They wouldn't go out, he wouldn't go out to play, and he would stop these people and he would stand up on the bench and he would teach everyone about these principles. But even if you miss that boat, since the moment you understand this, you have to practice this principle of Indriyani Niyamya to regulate the senses. Of course, it is very difficult to regulate the senses. When there is opportunity for sense enjoyment, we often don't have that higher spiritual strength to curb that temptation. We usually give in to it. It is like a huge wave coming and eclipsing a small boat on an ocean. So we are in the middle of an ocean and that waves are tossing us around. We are helplessly being tossed around. These waves of the sense gratification are like that. Shroto Ganaha, these waves are like that. Miche Mayar Vashe Yacho Bheshe Khacho Habu Dububai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings this song. Miche Mayar Vashe Yacho Bheshe Khacho Habu Dububai. That means this Maya is tossing us around like the waves. Just like the whirlpool, it like sucks you into this, deep into this ocean. So you are like that. So that's why Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobai. Please chant the names of Radha Krishna, which is the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. ए शिक्षा दिया सब न दिया फिर चे नीचे गौरनीताय. This Gauranitai means Gauranga and Nityananda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. This is what instruction they gave. This is what the lessons preaching they did in Nadia in West Bengal where they appeared. Chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant. You are stuck in this ocean of whirlpool of material existence. Jeev Krishna Das E Bishwas Korle To Ar Dukho Nai. If you understand that you are Jiva, you are not this body, you are living entity, spirit soul, and you are Krishna Das, E Bishwas Korle. If you have this faith, then To Ar Dukho Nai, you don't have any other misery. See how simple it is. Many times you have this experience. You are under tremendous misery and you're sweating and suddenly you wake up from your bed. It's a nightmare. A tiger may be chasing or you are undergoing a lot of trouble. Somebody trying to push you down and all of that. But suddenly you wake up and what a great relief, isn't it? Because it's no more true. It's illusion. It's a dream. So likewise, the moment you understand your spirit soul and part and parcel of Krishna, all the difficulties will be gone. Because you know, these are all temporary difficulties. My original reality is to be servant of Krishna. And as long as I am awake to that reality, all of this is a passing like a dream. Sometimes we'll be in trouble, sometimes we'll be in happiness, but it's just a duality. This is a temporary phase of this material world. And then they say, Krishna bolbe jabe, pulaka hobe, jorbi ankhi boli tai. So what is the advantage of chanting Hare Krishna? Then you'll feel that ecstasy, that pulaka hobe, your body will undergo that ecstasy, and ankhi, jorbi ankhi boli tai, your eyes will have tears. Tears will be rolling down your cheeks in happiness. So, this is what Gaurnitai are saying. E matra bhika chai, Radha Krishna bolo sange chalo. And all the vipadas, sakal vipod, bhakti vinod, bole jakhon unam gai. If one chants the holy name, all the vipada will be gone. So you see, by practicing Krishna consciousness, you can get the strength to withstand this indriya attraction, because our mind is constantly bombarded, especially today, with various impressions. If you are driving, so the billboards are trying to catch your attention, the posters are catching attention. Even when you go to a doctor, there'll be a nice table on which there are a lot of magazines. Even you go to grocery store, there'll be TV and there'll be music. So newspapers, advertisements, your colleagues talking, parties, you cannot avoid. Every moment we are bombarded, our mind is bombarded. So we have to show discipline, and that is why the four regulative principles are given and the oaths are given. Dhrida Vrataha, like Kartik Vrata, people take. Why? This month is Kartik. Today is the last day for people in US. So why these vratas are given? Because by taking the vrata, we become strong. Or even if something comes, the mind is disturbed. No, no, no. This month I've taken the vrata, so I have to stick to the vrata. So if you take in initiation, you take the vrata of following the four regulative principles. So by the power of the determination, because we have a higher goal, we want to reach that goal, so we have to be disciplined about it. Just like a bodybuilder, he has the goal of building this body. For the next 1 year, every single day, I'm going to the gym. Come what may. So, unless you are disciplined like that, and of course, as he keeps going to the gym every day, he keeps gaining strength, isn't it? And that strength keeps him motivated. Yes, see how I already put up some muscle. So by next month, my muscle will be like this. So like that, not only discipline, but you also have to practice Krishna conscious principles, which is chanting, hearing, attending the classes, doing services for the spiritual master. These are all muscle building things, which will help you further to maintain that discipline. So actually, this material things, you will consider that as a lower taste once you build the higher taste. Bhagavatam gives the example. The material taste is like Vayasam Tirtham. There are two birds. One is the swan, and then there is a crow. So this crow always looks towards filth. Wherever people throw their eaten up plates, refuse, the crow goes there. Wherever there is dirty things, the crow is there, trying to pick up some dead meat and things like that. So one day we were in the traffic, and suddenly the crow was coming. Everybody was in the red light. Everybody was not moving. And the crow was coming, stooping down onto the road and picking up some small piece of, dead meat or something like that. So crow is like that. But the Hamsa is different. Hamsa means the perfect swan. It only roams in the perfect clean water places. And it is said that if you give, we have this experience, especially in India, the milk mixed with water. One colleague was saying a joke. So it's so common to mix water in the milk. So one time one woman was shouting from the inside, "Hey, milkman, don't mix water into the milk." And the milkman was saying, "No, no, ma'am, I will never do that. I only put ice into the milk." So like that. So the swan can Take only the milk part and leave the water. So these two birds examples are given to show that a Krishna conscious person having tasted that higher pleasure will never come to the lower pleasure like that of a crow. Nayadvachaschitrapadam hareryasho jagat pavitram pragranita karhichit tadvayasam tirtham ushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramantyusikshayah. What it means is these glories of the Lord, which are described by the choicest words, and those glories sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, and that is the place of inhabitation for the all perfect persons who are like swans. But any place which is not consisting of the glorification of the Lord, any words that do not describe the glories of the Lord, is to be a place of pilgrimage for the crows. So the crows, just like the living entities in the conditioned world, there are many, many things for them to be engaged in. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nunam Santi Sahasrashaha. There are thousands of things everybody is hearing every day, talking about every day, watching the TVs every day. Apashyatam Atmatattvam Gruheshu Gruhamedhinam, and they continue in the Gruhamedhi existence, continuing life after life, body after body, without understanding the higher reality, the higher happiness. We spoke about the parrot example yesterday. The parrot is open, the friend released the parrot, but instead of going, it came back to taste that meager, addictive, sweet grains. So, like that. But this formula of yama and niyama, regulation and chanting of the holy names and performing services, devotional service, is the best combination. And it's never too late either to start Krishna consciousness or to resurrect our Krishna consciousness. Even when you want to resurrect, you have been chanting, but somehow you fell away or went away from the association. You want to restart. Yes, it's not late. Any moment you can restart. Even if you are old, you can start or restart. We have seen several examples. People starting their Krishna consciousness in their 60s, even 70s, becoming fully dedicated, initiated, performing wonderful services. So it only takes one moment to realize its importance, and you associate with devotees. This Ajamila, he started Krishna consciousness, but he fell away. But he realized it when he was 88 years old, when that incident happened, when he was on the deathbed. The Yamadutas were picking him up. But because he chanted Narayana, calling his son, the Vishnudutas came and they saved him. And then he realized, oh my God, what have I done for the last 60 years or so? And he seriously restarted. He went to Haridwar and completely transformed his life and went back to Godhead. So it's never too late either to restart or start. One devotee was saying in Europe, they went to distribute books, Bhagavad Gita. He rang the bell of an old villa. No one answered the door, so he went to the next house. And then he heard from the previous house, hey, someone here knocking the door? An old woman was peering out of the window. And so she took like 5 minutes to walk to the window. She is like 80 years old. She's got Parkinson's disease. And the devotee showed the Bhagavatam first canto. And she got that confused with Bhagavad Gita. Oh, that's Bhagavad Gita. And she told the devotee that she had read the Bhagavad Gita as a young student. She said she was always interested but never got the opportunity to dive into that. And she thanked him and said, finally, before I die, I will understand the absolute truth. So, and then the devotee went and got her some prasadam and some incense sticks and wished her the best. So, her life would have changed, or at least now she has, in the old age, she has the opportunity to contemplate about the higher reality. So, like this, anybody can anytime. We have seen several examples. Prabhupada gave one letter he wrote to one devotee. He said, it is never too late to become Krishna conscious. If you actually follow all the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds, avoiding the offenses, and attend the Mangala Arati and classes, then Krishna will see that you are sincerely trying to follow the real process of Krishna consciousness. Don't try to manufacture some artificial process. The process I have already given. Now you simply have to follow it strictly, and Krishna will give you all help. So if we do our bit, sincerely try to follow the oaths that we have taken, follow the 4 regulative principles, the chanting, services, then Krishna will give you all help. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.